Greetings, true believers. It's your old pal Spider-Man. Good morning, Cadre. Good morning, everybody out there. Be forewarned, this video is going to go a little bit longer than normal. Doing a couple of things, doing a review of a new razor that I'm testing out. So because of that, we're going to be talking a little bit more. The razor in question is this guy right here, which I got from John the Monkey on the Shaving Cadre. Part of a pass, and this is a clone of a Feather Artist Club razor. You know, the Artist Club razors, I got mine here, is about $100, and the clone I think cost him $20 or less, shipped over from China. And so we're gonna kind of compare the two. Now, if you put these two on the scale, they weigh about the same. Now, these are plastic scales, these are wood scales. So I tried to isolate the scales off from the scale by putting the razor part on the scale, letting the scales drip off, and or hang off, not drip, they're not liquid. And just kind of supported the weight of the scales with my hand to try to isolate the weight of the razor. And when I did that, the actual feather was about 8 grams heavier than this razor. So if you look at the two, they look very similar in makeup as far as design, geometry, the shape of the actual razor head, so to speak. You can see at the very top where the blade would be, they both have kind of a teardrop shape where they kind of come in where the blade rests, and there's that bump is intentional. It's almost like a little mini safety bar where it kind of gives you contact with your skin before the razor does, so that bump is kind of in there by design. And you can see that both razors do in fact have that bump. Now there's a blade in this one, there's not in this one, so that's why you see this gap right here, which will be closed up a little bit once we get a blade in there. Now as far as the looks, they appear very similar, have the same markings, same type of indentations. The tail is slightly different, but can't do this. Very similar. Now the one thing that I did notice is that this is a very matte finish and this is a very shiny finish. Now because of the weight difference and because of that difference, I totally think that these are made out of two totally different materials. Now this is stainless steel. I don't know what this is. I don't think this is stainless steel. Another difference I noticed is this razor here, this is all one piece except for this door that slides off. Now this one actually has a groove going down the length of it, suggesting that these are two different pieces that were sandwiched together. So at least right there, that makeup is a little bit different. Now I don't see that same crease on this side. So what that kind of tells me is that maybe this was one piece of metal that was folded together and then joined on this side, whereas this is one solid piece. So probably this one is hollow, whereas this one is solid, which would account for the weight difference. Now I'm going to show you how you would load these. This is a pack of Feather Pro blades. This is an injector style razor. It's got a little bump on the injector, and then you've got a little hole in the end. So you would put that into there, squeeze this, and then you would pull this back and slide the blade into there. Now, I already have a blade out because I used this razor yesterday, which is a clone of the Kai Captain Camisori style razor. So I'm just going to take the blade out of this and put it into that. So to unblade the razor, you just kind of squeeze these two together, squeeze this part together, and then it may just slide out. If it doesn't, then you just need to like get your nail behind it and push it out and then pull the blade out. So it's just a spring and friction fit. So if you aren't using the injector cartridge to load these, again, you can just squeeze this and then insert it in and just let it rest in there, let it seat down, and then just push it all the way in and then let go. And now it's in. Now this cover here does slide out. In fact, I'll show you that. So all you do is push down and push it over, and this does come out. So you can load them that way. You can open it all the way up, put the blade in there, put this cover back on, squeeze it, and then slide it in. Which that didn't work. But it's a pain in the butt. Don't do it that way. The only reason that I see to take this off is to clean it. So I gotta make sure I get this put back together the right way. Now I'll reload my blade. There we go. Okay, so now with the blade loaded, let's compare and see how they look. So you can see there is definitely some more space on this razor than there is in this one. So this one is made to a better tolerance, stricter QC. This one is much cheaper and is not, so there's a little bit of difference there. When you look at it from the side, this door lines up perfectly along the edge. It's the same height. There is a little bit of, I don't know if it'll show up on the camera here, but there's a little bit of this door. It's seating all the way down, but maybe from the front you can see that one is slightly higher than the other one. So it doesn't rest perfectly even like this one does. Other than that, I don't like the way this is pinned. This is very loose, and I don't like that. Whereas this one is very tight, and wherever I put that, that's where it's going to stay. So I do like that about this one. This could be repinned, or this pin could be tightened, but I don't like how floppy that is. Other than that, like I said, the geometry of the head and where the blade comes in contact looks about the same. So I expect the shave to be about the same. So we're going to go ahead and go for that and test it out. So I am also continuing my use of samples. This is Saponificio Veracino Tundra Arctica, which I got a sample from Handlebarber Dave. Again, smash that into my lather bowl. I'll be using my Oz patchwork brush to lather this up. Notes on this one, Tundra Arctica, where did it go? Okay, top note is agar wood, which is oud, cedar, and tangerine. Middle note, cashmerean, Damascus rose, patchouli. And then base notes of amber, sandalwood, and leather. And I got to say, once again, all the notes are just blended in together. Nothing stands out. I'm definitely getting different notes popping out of this one than I did with the previous ones. Maybe leather. I'm not sure what there's a few different notes that are peeking out and playing a little bit differently. However, it is still in that same wheelhouse as everything else that I've tried from SV. They're all very, very similar scents. It's like, even though the makeup of them isn't close to the same in a lot of them, they still smell the same, which it just baffles me. I do kind of like this one. Again, it's not reaching out and grabbing me. But it's more, I guess, a little bit more woody, a little bit more earthy than some of the other ones. So, I don't know, kind of like it. We're gonna load this up, lather this up. Again, I'm gonna try to add some water into it, make it as slick as I can. Since we're using a straight razor, I'm like I did before when I tested out the Kai Captain clone, I'm probably only gonna do one pass. I don't know, we'll see how it goes when I get there. Actually, I do kind of like this one. Like I said, it's very similar, but like subtly different, and something about it, probably just the woodiness. I'm a naturey kind of guy, so woody scents, green scents, earthy scents, that's kind of what I'm drawn to. And I guess the woody nature of that one is really kind of, I will say kind of grabbing me. It's not really reaching out saying, hey, this is awesome, but I kind of do like it. So again, this blade is on its second use. I used it yesterday in the Kai Captain clone. I'll just tell you right off the bat, I don't feel like this is cutting me as close as the Kai Captain clone did. I remember noting yesterday when I went to the second pass and I switched to DE, I felt like the DE wasn't doing, didn't need to do as much because the Kai had gotten me so close. And I can already feel that this is not as close as that one was. I don't know if it's just that different geometry, whereas the, so this is my CJB with the blade loaded. See, it doesn't have that kind of teardrop shape. It's more of a wedge, whereas this one kind of just has that little rounded end. And maybe that's making the difference here, I don't know. I really don't like this right here. My pinky is supporting it, and I feel like my pinky is doing a lot of work holding it up. It's because it's constantly jiggling around in my hand. I know a lot of people like this because of the wood scales. Honestly, I don't even really care what the scale material is. I mean, yeah, wood looks nice, but so I watched the new Pet Cemetery last night. I thought it was very good. It's been a while since I've seen the original Pet Cemetery. So I'm sure there's a lot that I'm forgetting, but this did appear to be quite different from the original, which I liked. The things that they did kind of were unexpected. There were quite a few Stephen King Easter eggs in it, which I picked up on a couple. one of the more obvious ones was a car was sitting in traffic, and you could see a road sign saying that the city of Derry was 20 miles down the road, which Derry is the city from the movie It, or from the book It. Not comfortable right here. This is like my least comfortable area to do, just left-handed and on the neck. So I know there was a couple more, and I'm sure there's a bunch more that I missed, but if you do watch it, keep an eye out for those Easter eggs. If you're a fan of Stephen King, if you've seen some of the movies based on his books, you'll probably pick up on a few of them. But I thought it was really good, very suspenseful. I would say to your average moviegoer, probably pretty scary. I will just call it suspenseful. There's definitely some jump scares built into it. And I'll say I was startled a couple of times. But overall, it was really good. Now, this is really totally not nearly as close as the Kai Captain clone was. Not as good of a shave. And I would venture to say that, I don't know, I think I might, what the heck, I'm gonna do something different here. I'm gonna do a second pass with the grain still, but with my feather, and see if it's any different. I don't know why it would be different, but we'll see if I get any closer with that on the second pass, or if it feels any different. I mean, if it's not going to cut me any closer, then I shouldn't be getting any more stubble. Also, I don't know why, but this is much smoother. This just feels better on the skin. And it is a little bit closer, so I don't know why. I don't know what the difference is, but I do like the feather better. The weight of it is definitely better. One thing too, so the clone is the same weight, but the head is heavier, which means the handle, or the head is lighter, which means the scales are heavier, which again affects your balance. Like this thing is feather light, pardon the pun. And so holding it up here, it's almost like nothing. Whereas I felt like I was constantly fighting against the weight and the floppiness of the scales in the clone. So maybe that caused me to hold it at a different or a weird angle. Much closer, much smoother feeling. It just is much easier. Now, I know a better comparison would be to shave one side with one razor, the other side with the other. And you're thinking, yeah, but you've already had one pass, of course it's easier. Well, I know. It's just the feeling. And this one feels better. Let's see how the neck is, because I was kind of sketchy on the neck anyways. Much more comfortable. I don't know why. It's the same blade. I think. I'm pretty sure this is just a Feather Pro also. Alright, so that's my comparison. You've heard me along the way. I really like my feather better than that clone. Is it $80 better? I don't know. I mean, I guess you would have to just make that decision yourself. It's definitely a starting point. If you're not sure if you're gonna like the feather or like that style of a razor, get the clone, see how it is. I'm gonna try to do this pass kind of quick. See how it is, see if you like it. I mean, it's definitely similar. I won't say close, I'll say similar. So it'll give you an idea. And then if you do like it and you want something a little bit nicer, a little bit better, then splurge and go for the feather. But if you try it and you just don't like the way it feels, don't like the way it shaves, then you saved yourself some money by trying out the clone. If you've already got the feather, I would not waste any money getting the clone, even for getting like a backup or something. I mean, if you want it for a travel razor, something to throw in the DOP kit that you're not too worried about, then do that. But other than that, I wouldn't spend money on the clone if you've already got the feather. One more quick pass. I did really like the Kai Captain clone. So I kind of want to use that one a little bit more and compare it more directly to my CJB. Maybe do a side-by-side comparison. I did one as far as how they look, but not how they shave. So I am curious about that. Because it is a clone of the Kai Captain, not necessarily a clone of the CJB, and the CJB may be a pseudo clone of the Kai Captain. I don't know, but they are different enough from each other that I don't think that they're necessarily based off of the same razor. Same idea, sure, but just thinking about the scent of the soap, it's very subtle. It's sort of strong on the brush, but once I get it on my face, I'm not really smelling it. So we're gonna see what the aftershave smells like and how I like that. First witch hazel. Let it dry off a little bit. Then Tundra, white lettering on silver. Tundra Arctica. Now, I did mention before how I thought these didn't feel, at least, like they have alcohol in them, even though they do. Now, water is the first ingredient, alcohol is the second ingredient. So percentage-wise, like, it could be very, very low on alcohol. It could be like 5 to 10%. Because everything after that is just kind of like oils and glycerin and other stuff. And those are all in like probably minute amounts. The scent of the aftershave really isn't doing anything. Like, I barely detect it. Like, if I got that soap, I don't even know if there would be a point in getting the matching aftershave, because it really doesn't have much of a scent. It's very much more subdued than the other ones even are. I am getting some woodiness out of that, but that's about it. I do like the way they feel though. Definitely would get probably one of the aftershaves just to have the aftershave to feel, because they do feel really good on the skin, very moisturizing, not very drying feeling, and probably just because of the low alcohol content. I have no idea what the actual percentage is, but it's probably way less than 50%, which is what a lot of aftershaves are. Anyways, that is my very long review for today. The Tundra Arctica from Saponificio Veracino and the Feathered Clone. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for sticking around if you're still watching, and we'll see you guys on the forums later.